to talk you through the preparation and performance of a postal breath test kit. This breath test is for the detection of a stomach bacteria called Helicobacter pylori. To measure for this bacteria, we measure the levels of carbon-13 in your breath, as this is processed by the H. pylori and expelled in your lungs. By taking measurements of this carbon-13 over specific time points, it gives us an indication of whether this bacteria is active in your stomach. When your box arrives in the post, open it up and familiarise yourself with the contents and make sure that you have everything that you need. Once you take everything out of your box, make sure you keep this box safe, as this is the same box you'll use to return your samples back to us once you've completed the test. Please bear in mind that your box may be a different size or a different shape to this one that I've got here. In your box, you will have 3 plastic bags which you'll use to collect your breath samples. One will be labelled 0 minutes, one will be labelled 10 minutes, and one will be labelled 30 minutes. These bags will also have your initials on. Inside your box, you will also have the urea capsule. This is a bit like a tablet, and this is the substance that you will take, which is completely safe, but it allows us to see how the H. pylori in your stomach breaks this down so we can see if it's present. In your box, you will also have 3 sheets of paper, which are very important. The first is your history sheet. So this sheet you'll need to fill out with your personal details, including your height and weight, so that we can make sure the test is accurate to yourself and that we can trace the results back to you. You will also have a consent form. It's important that you fill this out with your details and sign and date the bottom so that we know we have your permission to perform this test. And the last sheet is your instruction sheet. Make sure you read this carefully and you're familiar with everything. It will also include bullet points of everything that you should have in your box, so you can double check against this here as well. The last thing in your box is the prepaid postage label. So this here, once you've finished your test, you can put everything back into the same box and stick this label on the front, which will give you free postage to send it back to us at our clinic so that we can analyse the results. Before you plan a day for your test, make sure you read the enclosed instructions carefully, as this will give details of the preparation that you'll need to follow before you can start the test. By following this preparation exactly, you can make sure your test is most accurate. For 4 weeks before you start the test, do not take any antibiotic medication. For 1 week before the test, do not take any proton pump inhibitors. These are medications for acid reflux, such as omeprazole, lansoprazole, or esomeprazole. For 2 days before the test, do not take any pro-motility agents or laxatives. You may continue with any other of your essential medications. On the day of your test, you should not eat or drink anything for 6 hours before. If you are diabetic and think you may struggle with fasting for this length of time, please let us know. During this time, you may take small sips of water, up to a maximum of 300 millilitres, and you can use this water to take any of your essential medications. Before you do the test, do not smoke, chew gum, or take mints. And do not exercise on the day before you do the test either. Ahead of time, you can fill in your paperwork. You should have a history sheet. Fill this in, including your height and weight, and also a consent form to say that you're happy for us to analyse your samples. You should also plan to be awake for 1 hour before you start the test. For example, if you want to start your test at 9 AM, you should make sure you're awake by 8 AM. That morning, you may brush your teeth and take any of your essential medications with a small amount of water, but do not eat or drink anything else. You'll then be ready to start your test at 9 AM. The test should take between 30 to 40 minutes. Take the plastic bag labelled 0 minutes. There'll be a screw cap on the valve. If this is closed, turn it anti-clockwise 3 times to open it. Take a breath in and hold it for 5 seconds. Then make a good seal with your lips around the mouthpiece and blow into the bag, filling it up as much as you can. Once the bag is full, continue breathing out but with your hand on the cap and start to tighten this and close the bag. Ensure that the cap is tight and there is no air escaping. If you are not happy with your sample, you can unscrew the cap, empty the bag and try again. This is your baseline sample. Now you need to take the urea capsule with about 100 millilitres of water. This is about half a glass. Once you've taken the capsule, make a note of the time that you took it on your history sheet. Then, once you've done that, wait 10 minutes and then take your plastic bag labelled 10 minutes and take a breath sample in the same way as you did before. Then, wait another 30 minutes and take the breath sample bag labelled 30 and do the same again. Once you've completed your test, make sure you send everything back to us in the box that it arrived in. You should have 3 full breath bags containing your breath samples. One will be labelled as 0 minutes. One labelled 10 minutes. And one labelled 30 minutes. For each of these bags, make sure they're fully inflated and make sure there's no leaks. You should also send back your completed paperwork. So you'll have your completed consent form, which has got your details on the top and should be signed and dated at the bottom so that we know we've got your permission to complete this test. Put this back in your box. And also your completed patient history sheet. So this has got your personal details and also the times that you took each of those samples. Put this back in your box as well. Once your 3 breath bags and your 2 pieces of paperwork are in your box, you can seal it up and stick on the top the prepaid postage label. Make sure you take this to a post office within 7 days. The box will then come back to us at our clinic and we'll analyse those samples and send the results back to your doctor within 2 working days. If you have any questions or queries at all about your breath test, please get in touch with us here at the Functional Gut Clinic and we'll be happy to help.